Maybe you're new to Medicare and are still weighing all of your options, or perhaps you've been on Medicare for several years now and you're just looking to see if there's a better solution for you. Regardless of the situation, if you find yourself asking the question, which Medicare supplement company is right for me, then you've come to the right place, and that's exactly what we're going to be answering in today's video. My name is Colin Wattenville, and I've personally been helping people with their Medicare since the beginning of 2018, so it's safe to say that I'm no novice. I'm definitely an expert at this point. I've been around the block, as they say. I've seen the funny business and all of the different types of antics that insurance companies in the Medicare space do try to play, and so I'm going to be teaching you here today some things to look for, some things to avoid, and basically overall how to shop for the best Medicare supplement insurance company. If you are in the market for a Medicare supplement plan, you've probably been doing some research online, asking around friends and family, maybe even talking to the guy at the bar about which plan he has, right? And you've probably become super overwhelmed with all of the options, because depending on your market, there can be probably 40, 50 insurance companies offering these types of plans. And the one thing to know about Medicare supplements is they're all standardized. So if you have a plan N with one company, it by law has to have the exact same coverage as company B has. So no matter which company, if it's a plan N, it's going to have the exact same coverage. Same goes for the other letters for the Medigap plans, the Medicare supplement plans. A plan G is a plan G regardless of what insurance company you have. And so if you have been doing research, maybe you've looked on Medicare.gov or talked to a ship counselor, and they've shown you that classic printout of companies ranging from cheapest to most expensive, and you are sitting there with your eyes wide open and jaw on the floor saying, oh my gosh, this is so many options. Which one is right for me? Well, if they're all the same coverage, why don't I just pick the cheapest one? And I'm here to tell you that is not how you should be shopping for your Medicare supplement plan. You should not just pick the cheapest plan that is available, and I'm about to get into why that's the case. So when you are shopping for a Medicare supplement plan, what do you look for? Obviously, you do want to look for price, right? So if the coverage is all the same across the board, regardless of the company, you're going to want to find a company that you trust that is on the cheaper side of that spectrum. And what I said there, if you caught it, is very important. A company that you trust. Now, obviously, no one has the crystal ball. Any agent who is promising rate locks or swearing the company won't do this or that or go under or leave the market is lying. No one knows the future. It's a very volatile time for the Medicare space, and so no one can predict things 100%. But just like your financial advisor probably tells you, past performance does not dictate future performance, but that's all we can go off of, right? And so what you want to look for is a plan who is higher rated, who's been in the market for a while, and who has a history of pretty stable rate increases. In regards to a high rating, you want to look at companies and organizations like AM's Best rating system, where it has, a standard grading scale. I think they go all the way down to F, but you should never really be messing with or selecting a plan from any carrier that is less than a B++ rating, in my opinion, really even an A-, because again, the higher the rating, that just means that the more financially stable they are, where if they do have some crazy years with a lot of claims, they have the financial backing to help pay for those claims and are less likely, again, no certainties, but they're less likely to raise rates a higher amount after having some higher claims. So find a company that has a high rating, and also find a company who's been in the market for a while. Don't get a fly-by-the-night company, as I like to say, or a company who's just coming in really quickly and you've never heard of them. Maybe they have a good backing, maybe they have the support of a higher insurance company funding them or helping with their claims and billing administration. But if they are a quote-unquote no-name company, then I would probably avoid them. And with that being said, no name in regards to what your insurance agent is familiar with, because you should not be shopping these plans on your own. You should definitely be having an insurance agent working with you and helping you select all these plans on your behalf, because they should be familiar with the market and understand all these nuances in selecting a Medicare supplement plan. However, with that being said, don't stick on this point too much, because what's considered a no-name insurance company to you probably not the same as what's considered a no-name insurance company to your agent, because they're in the industry, they've seen a lot more companies, they're appointed with a lot more companies, and let's be real, most civilians, they can't name more than 3, maybe 4 or 5 if they're lucky, insurance companies. So there's clearly a lot more insurance companies than that, but the average everyday person can't really name more than a handful. And then lastly, you want to pick a Medicare supplement company based on the history of rate increases that the companies have had. Again, we have no idea what the future will hold, and we are seeing some bigger name companies have some pretty outstanding rate increases, some pretty high price hikes recently, year to year. But historically, the larger companies, the higher rated companies, they have a history that's in place that agents should have access to with the tools that they have at their disposal to see how much that company has raised their rates over the years. A disclaimer again though, all of this is just a good rule of thumb. No one knows which plan is going to be in the market forever or which one's going to have stable rate increases over the years. You just can't tell. So those are the 3 main things that you can kind of go off of in terms of hopefully helping predict which company is going to be stable for the long run and keep your rates as low as possible. Because as I've said, I've been doing this for a while now, and I've seen huge name companies and legacy carriers leave the entire MedSup market, or even just leave specific states entirely if they don't see the returns that they're looking for in that state. So again, be careful, because if you see a new great insurance company coming up offering some crazy low Medicare supplement rates, they are probably not going to be in the industry for more than a handful of years. I've seen it happen all the time. You see these new companies come in with these very attractive low rates, and then they get a bunch of people on and they cannot afford to pay for all of the claims of their customers. So what do they have to do? They of course have to pass that risk back onto you, the consumer, by jacking up your rate, by 15, 20, 30%. Some other red flags to look for include rebrands. So there will be big name companies who have high ratings and have been in the market for a while, but maybe they just went through a buyout, or they're the same company, no one purchased them, but they did a big rebrand. Should that always be a warning sign? Absolutely not. But one thing to consider is, why are they doing this transition or this rename at this time? Could be because they are trying to distance themselves from their old branding and their old name, so that then they can increase the rates under this new looking company. Even some big name carriers do this all the time. They may have one group of people, one pool, one block of business with a plan G, and then close off that block of business, meaning no new customers can get a plan G with that specific branding, that specific name, but still the same insurance company. They just open up a second block of business, leaving all the people in that first block of business kind of stuck on that block if they're too unhealthy to switch, thus having higher rate increases, and then they really push for this new block of business where it's the same insurance company backing it, it's just a slightly different name. And these are the kind of things that if you're doing research online on your own, if you're asking around friends and family, maybe you're poking around on Medicare.gov, or even if you're talking to a ship counselor, they might not know all these nuances. They might not understand exactly how these insurance companies operate, the kind of tricks that they pull to do rebranding and come up with different products. So that's why it's really important to find a insurance broker, someone like myself, who is appointed with about 45, 50 different companies across several different states and has seen these companies in action. We know how they work, we understand the games that they play, and we can truly help guide you to find the best Medicare supplement insurance company for you. So if that's something you need assistance with, please reach out. I own an insurance agency and have a team of agents who can help shop around different plans and help meet with you to do a full needs analysis, assess your budget, and figure out the right Medicare supplement insurance company that fits your needs best. You can find our information below, or do a quick online search for Modern Health Solutions and then send us a message that way, or shoot us an email, text message, give us a ring. However you want to reach out, we'll reach out back to you. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, or maybe you learned something, please hit that like button, consider sharing it with a friend or family, leave the comments down below, share your thoughts, or even just follow us on your favorite social media platform. It really helps the channel grow, helps us get in front of more people, and the bigger that we grow, the more people we can help. Again, my name's Colin Wattenville, and thank you so much for watching.